What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming, and it is time once again for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be looking at a game between Kaz and Kami. In the lower right hand spawn position, we have got Kami as our blue Protoss player, and in the upper left position, the red Terran player, Empire's Kaz. So yes, this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, Kaz versus Kami, starting things off once again here on Tal'Darim Altar. Let's take a look early on. Anything cheesy, anything fun like that? I just actually, not too long ago, did a TVP, and there was just a whole lot of cheese. It was pretty hilarious, to be honest. It looks like that's not going to be happening this time around, though. I think this map in particular, very hard to go with crazy early game aggression, like proxy gateways or proxy racks, 2 racks, or whatever. Any type of early aggression, a little more difficult on this map, just because it's so large, and it usually takes a little while until you actually figure out where your opponent is, and that means that any proxy building placement in the earliest stage of the game is just very unlikely to be successful. The probability is just a bit too small. That's the thing. Supply depot at the front there, a little entrance between the main and the natural. We have got that barracks being built back here. Let's keep an eye to see if we see any 13 refineries. If not, it will be a 1 Arax into expand. Now back over here for Kami, still nothing. He's churning out those probes. Working on a very strong econ, and is he going Nexus first? Ooh, I think he is. Looks like Kami will be going Nexus first before all else. Now we are going to be seeing a 1-Rax expand here from Kaz, but his expansion will be a little bit later than that of Kami. So you can see Kami now dropping that Nexus. Next up is going to be that Gateway. Going to get that as soon as he hits those 150 minerals, because of course he is really delaying his unit production quite significantly by going expansion first. And there we go. Now that we have got the first barracks up, we're going to be seeing that orbital command, and that expansion will be built next thing right here. So there you have it. Scout now moving out for Kaz, and that will be the first scout of the game for either player. Gateway as well as an assimilator coming on through. And then there you have it. Wow, this is just so risky. But again, because Kaz is also going fast expand, it's really not the biggest problem. Now, you really don't see it anymore. I can't remember the last time in a professional game in TVP I saw a 3-Rax. But if we saw a 3-Rax from Kaz, this expansion would be goner. There was no way Kami could defend against 3-Rax aggression on this map if he went Nexus first. He wouldn't have the units out early enough. It would not be possible. Even 2-Rax aggression could be pretty effective. But again, Kaz is doing neither of those things, so I guess there's no reason to really talk about it, as he is just at the moment pumping out Marines for early game defense, coming out with a bunker to stop any Stalker or Zealot pressure early on from being effective, and continuing along his merry way with that scouting. He will be seeing the fact, though, that this scout is that this expansion is so early. Once he checks that Cybernex core timing, he'll be like, wow, that was a super early Nexus. In fact, he knows as it is right now, seeing that that Nexus is up and running before his command center even finishes building. I don't think he needs to bother even scouting anymore, and as we saw, he decided not to, because he's like, wow, that Nexus is done? Alright, well, his expansion was out before mine, so it looks like he might be overcompensating. He's coming out with another base as he's going for a quick third, and I was wondering, too, why he had no refineries, and that was, of course, the reason why he wanted to continue to work up those minerals. This was his plan from the get-go, in fact. Still off of 1 Rax, just pumping out Marines. And that is all he's going to need for the time being, at least. Going to be a little close, though. We'll have to see if Kami scouts out that third. Now, it looks like the third of Kaz will be laid right around here. So if Kami gets like a pylon down here or something, or even the other thing, too, is you can sometimes just drop a pylon right here, and that's going to allow you to warp in and check with Zealots and stuff. This pylon's a lot less likely to get scouted in this position, and that would actually be a really good spot there. So let's see if Kami ends up actually doing that. Sentry moving over. He's going to start working on these rocks, as we are going to be seeing Kami attempt to prepare to move into a third base. Kaz will have his third up much sooner than his opponent. We've got 2 more racks coming on through, finally coming out with those refineries. Actually, refinery also coming out with that natural expansion. As he is preparing to tech up, wants to likely get that stim pack, combat shield, concussive shell coming through. Also, of course, getting a factory so that he can work his way up into Starport is going to also be a good idea. We got 1 tower controlled over here by the Marine, the other 2 towers controlled by Kami with these Zealots. And at the moment, Kami, what is he going for? Well, we have got a few gateways in, robotics coming through, and that's about it. In fact, that warp gate research is now just finishing. Stimpack starting right now around the 7-minute mark, and that just goes to show you, so focused on economy early on. Now we're going to see Kaz actually work to saturate this expansion before he decides to drop the orbital at the 3rd. He wants to make sure he's got full saturation there at the main and the natural. He can actually probably afford to get 1 or 2 more SCVs over here. Looks like he's still building a few, so that'll work out. That'll work itself out eventually. Engineering Bay coming out, finally dropping that factory, allowing him to work up into Starport and get those medevacs out. And we are going to be seeing another tech lab as well as a reactor. So Marauder Heavy is what we'll be seeing. Double Marines coming out of that reactor racks over there. Kami getting pretty close now to working down those rocks. A little while longer to go though. So again, I expect his 3rd to be a little bit delayed. Little supply block over here as well for Kaz. Quite unfortunate. Hopefully he alleviates that soon. Now finally going to be seeing what's going on for either player in terms of composition. Kami will be going with some Colossus tech as we're going to be seeing that robotics bay come on through. Also coming out with the upgrades, just queuing them up here. Level 1 armor already researching. Level 1 weapons will be coming through immediately after that. First Observer Scout now moving out here for Kami. So Kami with that actually maybe scouting out this 3rd. In fact, it looks like the 3rd will in fact be going over here instead of, as I expected it to be dropped right over here. I think he'll be, obviously this is a much easier position to defend as you're so close to your natural expansion, and you can just send units on over if he gets pushed. This is a very dangerous position to try to defend. I just assumed, I suppose, that Kaz would be trying to go for a hidden expansion. So it will be Marine Marauder Medevac here for Kaz, very standard, and then Gateway Colossus is what we'll be seeing from Kami, again very standard, with the likely later on transition of High Templar and Archons, of course. And obviously dropping those Psy Storms with those High Templar can be very effective against Bio, specifically against those Marines. Observer Scout moving in. Should be catching that orbital command in transit. I believe he will be doing that very thing. Here's a hot swap there with the Starport going on the reactor now. So here come those double medevacs. And the Observer Scout checks the orbital as it makes its way on across to that 3rd spot. So at the very least right now, Kami knows that he's up against 3 base and he's got his 3rd base coming. And actually, pretty interestingly enough, they're both pretty much impeccable on their timings in terms of when they're going to start saturating those 3rd bases. You can see that Nexus just now finishing and the orbital just now working down. I think the difference is going to be, though, take a look over here. Oh, never mind, they're about on par. I thought that there might have been a discrepancy in the number of workers, but you do have to keep in mind that Kami, being Protoss, can of course Chrono Boost out workers. So even though there was an extra orbital command here for Kaz pumping out SCVs, with the Chrono Boost, Kami was able to stay on par when it comes to number of workers, and there we go, full saturation there, full saturation over here. So pretty much mirrored right now in terms of what they're doing. Quick expansions, working up into a 3rd, and neither player really has a very formidable army for the 11-minute mark. They've just been so focused on their economies. So quite a macro-heavy game, which is, you know, great as a player. Pretty boring to watch, though, so I'm sorry that you guys have been forced to watch this macro play for the first 11 minutes game time. But it does look like, at last, we will finally be seeing some aggression as we've got a medevac moving out. See if that gets spotted there, not just on the fringe. Obviously, he knows where that Zelnanga tower grants vision, able to bypass that. Now, he'll be attempting to drop over here. He needs to be careful, though. I don't know if he knows about this 3rd. Yeah, he doesn't yet. Very wise to drop first because we saw how many forces were there, and that's an easy defense. So dropping those units first will prevent that medevac from getting sniped out by those stalkers and sentries. So here comes the Bio, moving forward, and then just lifting up. He realizes, all right, well, there's an expansion there. At least I know that now. And unfortunately, that force a bit too formidable, deciding to just move back. 2 more medevacs moving down here. Although, oh, wow, I'm not actually sure if that observer scouted that out. Now these pylons, though, they will be checking in, so we should be seeing Kaz drop to deal with this. However, this now takes away the element of surprise that he would have had otherwise, walking right over that pylon, and he's not going to bother killing it off. He's just going to continue to work on through. So we're going to be seeing a 2-pronged attack, I'm assuming, here, with 1 medevac over here and 2 medevacs prepared to drop over here. Now with that pylon on the edge of his base, he's going to see that medevac dropping before it gets too close to that major tech. That should provide him with enough time to respond. Colossus coming through, charge zealot upgrades, armor and weapons level 2 also coming out. So we're about to see a pretty big engagement here in just one moment. Here comes 1 medevac dropping here, 1 medevac dropping here, and the other one. So he's hitting at 3 positions. Marauders moving up, trying to do some damage. Stimmed up Marines, dropping some pylons over here as well. And then that force hasn't moved yet. Medevac forced to lift off as the Colossus plus the rest of the army meets. Medevac gets dropped though, killing off a pylon before he loses his life. Moving forward, dropping some more buildings. However, some charged zealots warped in are enough to force the lift off and force Kaz back. How was that drop overall? I'd say okay. Wasn't the most successful drop in the world. Now, he did manage to kill off 7 workers so far at this game. I'm not sure if that was all from the drop. I believe it should have been. I don't think there was any other workers killed throughout the course of the game. However, he ends up losing a medevac, all those marines that were there as well, although he did kill off a few pylons, so I suppose that helps a bit. And I ended up losing a few units over here without killing off too much. There was a building that got dropped. I think it was just a pylon, though. I don't believe it was any tech, although I could be wrong. You never know. Kaz now moving out with a formidable force here. Lots of marines and marauders, so many Vikings. We also have a ghost in the mix. Total of 4 ghosts in play. I don't know where they are at the moment, though. They're not all right there, that's for sure. Looks like we got 2 over there. All right, so another drop preparing. Also permanent drop in there. Yeah, he's going to be dropping right in the back. That will be very effective. Now Kaz sitting up front over here with his forces is prepared to also push against that natural expansion. Hitting from multiple angles is one of my favorite things to see players do. So kudos to Kaz. Right now dropping over there. Feedback takes out the medevac. Drop over here, actually going straight for the gateway. Here comes the push as well. Now what's going to watch this as he responds to the small drop over here, pulling back all of his forces. Look at that death march moving in this position. Realizing something's funny is going on though, he decides to pull back, and he's got enough stalkers to deal with those marauders. And because of that, actually, keeping his forces back over here means that Kaz really can't effectively engage that. He's also really concerned. Oh, there's only 1 sentry? You're serious? Okay, never mind. I was going to say he's really concerned about a force field wall, but 1 sentry can't really do too much, so. Taking a look at Kami Vision, not too much going on. Some proxy pylons will be able to scout drops and also harass expansions in the future. In addition to that, Kaz, what does he have going on? Not a whole lot. 1 marine scouting in that position. That's about it. So again, some more macro here from both players. It doesn't look like any more aggression is coming at the moment. We will be seeing Kami, though, move out with some Blink Stalkers. This is a great way to get some map control and push back before any danger actually comes. Since Blink Stalkers are so mobile, it really allows you to just dance around and stay away from your opponent without losing too much. We'll be seeing a 4th base over here for Kami at the same time. Base number 4 and number 5 coming down for Kaz, although Zealot Harass killing off the SCV and delaying this expansion quite significantly. Now, he doesn't want to cancel because when you cancel, you lose a bit of those resources. And there's no reason to do that unless it's absolutely 100% necessary. Kami, again, with the Blink Stalkers here at the center of the map. Bunch of SCVs being sacrificed here as Kaz is trying to free up some supply to continue to work up his army size. 3-3 upgrades coming out. Take a look over here. We are 3-2 already with the level 3 weapons and now starting shield upgrades. So it does look like Kami is a little bit ahead when it comes to upgrades at the moment. More SCVs being sacrificed and pushing on through. Ooh, dropping here, wants to just take out those pylons. That's his main focus. All the Protoss army in this position. I think he'll probably try to hit this base first. It's the most vulnerable, hardest for Kaz to defend as well. And Kaz, again, does almost complete with that expansion over there. Factory Scout spots the forces moving across the map. This allows Kaz to respond. He should be pushing on over into this direction just so he can prevent this base from getting pushed on. We will actually be seeing some more air upgrades coming on through here for those Vikings, and this of course allows Kaz to take out those Colossus so much more quickly. We do have a healthy mix though, and this is really good to see from Kami. He's just not going all Colossus, he's just not going all High Templar, he's mixing it up so that the Vikings aren't crazy effective. But wow, ghost numbers. 15 ghosts. That is crazy. That is a crazy number of ghosts. Now what can you do with those? Quite clearly EMP. He can also snipe as well. And that's certainly going to be something that is effective. Any of those biological units will be able to snipe, so that's going to be those Zealots as of now, as well as those High Templar, although he is likely to just try to EMP those. But that is so many ghosts. That's absolutely crazy. Here we go, moving forward. The scan, scouting the Observer. And oh no, the ghosts walk over some storm. It doesn't matter though, because they are hardy units. And they can continue to push forward and just get some shots off and land those EMPs. And look at that. Half of that Protoss army is without shields right now. Another storm goes down. He gets sniped. I don't even know if that was a snipe. He could have just auto-attacked that and ruffled. Continue to push now, moving out. I can't believe how many ghosts there are. It's hilarious. Gonna be going now towards this base, or is he just first going for that pylon? I'm not entirely sure if he even knew about that expansion. Yeah, as of now, he does not. Now the push continuing to move forward. Protoss army sitting over here. That gets scanned, so right now Kaz knows what's going on. I want to see if there's any other drops or anything going on for either player. The answer to that question is a no. Pushing forward right now. He's got the Vikings prepared to engage with those Colossus as they move down. That Expo gets taken out very, very quickly. How unfortunate is that? Kami trying to spread out his forces so he doesn't get so affected by those EMPs. A couple of Zealots moving out, and actually there's nothing to defend the main base, so those Zealots could do pretty significant amounts of damage. Vikings as well as Ghost will be leading the way in this push. Kami going with those Blink Stalkers. All of them get EMP'd though from the Cloaked Ghost. It's going to force them to blink back. Such amazing EMPs. Scan gets dropped. More EMPs get laid down. Look at that. The Protoss army is without shields at all. Here comes the engagement. Vikings going for those Colossus. Stimmed up Bio, trying to stay out of that storm. Enough Blanket Storm to do a bit of damage. Colossus are gone, and there are enough Marauders, I believe. It's going to be close. No, overwhelming. With those Archons doing so much damage, it will overwhelm the rest of that Terran army. How unfortunate is that? And as expected, those Zealots just going to town over here. They can do so much damage with all of the forces of Kaz being across the map. Really, he doesn't have much to defend this base. No planetary over here as well. It really, of course, hurts him quite a bit. More and more units will be churning out right now of the racks here for Kaz as he prepares to try to take care of these Zealots and then defend himself against the probable counterattack. Now, it's our planetary over here. However, I don't know how long that is going to last, as Kami does have quite a strong force. So it's going to be pretty hard-pressed to be able to defend that, to be perfectly honest with you. We'll be taking a look quickly at the vision of both players. Kaz doesn't have anything going on. He is dealing with a little bit of harass over here. Besides this, yeah, here comes the push right now onto this expansion. This thing is a goner. He cannot defend this right now. He just does not have what it takes. No question about that. Planetary Fortress gets dropped so quickly. How unfortunate there for Kaz. How unfortunate indeed. Kaz now continuing to work up his forces. Now he does still have this expansion mining, so it's going to put him on about 1.5 mining bases. He's got some decent saturation, especially with those mules over there. And this base is pretty much mined out. These two bases are completely mined out, so he's transferring over the rest of his SCVs right now. And actually, Kami, he's got this base fully saturated over here, and that's looking pretty good. Stalkers will be delaying this expansion from coming down. Attempted Expo over here from Kaz, and that should go unscouted. I actually don't know what Kami's going to be able to do unless he warps in one Zell and checks over there. An expansion getting dropped over here again. Stalkers killing off some SCVs, forcing the cancel. Now Kaz will be moving down to take out these Stalkers, but still ended up losing the resources from that forced cancel. That certainly hurts him. Push now moving out for Kami. That gets scanned. Kaz is aware of what he's up against. I'm a little bit worried right now, though, mainly for Kaz's economy, as he's been just dealing with so much harass with those expansions. And Kami seems to be okay. Nice EMPs, though, and we're going to see that Terran army continue to push now. Kami does have an economic advantage right now. There's no question about that. But let's see how this engagement goes down before we call anything else. See that Protoss army forced all the way back just because of those massively effective EMPs. Very, very nice indeed. Still a little concerned, though, that we're not seeing any additional drops here. I would really like quite much if Kaz would be doing some attempted drops in the main. Even just one medevac filled with Marines could be so effective. Really concerned that there's also this hidden expansion right now that Kaz does not know about. Another engagement about to take place. Both armies right next to each other. Vikings moving forward, going straight for those Colossus. There's the storm. Bio does what it can to stay out of it. That's a problem, though. Protoss army going straight towards that Expo. Definitely don't want that to happen. Here comes the other engagement. Scan going down. Stalkers blinking forward. Ghosts doing what they can. You can see there's almost no shields left on that Protoss army. Vikings working down those Colossus. There's a fair amount of Bio left, but no Stalkers, preventing them from staying away from those Zealots as they blink and blindside them. And Kaz just lost his entire force. This is an incredibly vulnerable expansion, just being mined from with mules pretty much. Only a couple of SCVs over there. So Stalkers getting warped in over here. Two planetaries, though, going to prevent them from being able to push. And we do have the bulk of Kami's army right now just outside of Kaz's main. Kaz does not have a lot right now in terms of army supply. So he's got a bunch about to pop. I'm concerned for him right now. This push, we're going to be able to do a lot of damage right now. We should be seeing some EMPs from those Ghosts. He's just waiting for when the time is right. That EMP, unfortunately, misses the bulk of the army. This is not a good position here for Kaz to engage in. It is a choke point, which really hurts him against any Storms, Colossus, or Archon fire. Archon's just turning around. They'll be going straight for this Expo. Should be able to kill off a ton of SCVs. Dropping those orbitals also really going to hurt Kaz here. Yes, Kaz will be losing those orbitals. We got some more, so many charged zealots getting warped in. That's going to be really scary as Kaz is about to get blindsided here with a huge number of charged zealots. So here we go, charged zealots coming up the backside. This is not going to be good here for the bio. Watch as Kaz gets sandwiched here. Charged zealots in the back. Blink Stalkers and Colossus pushing the rest of the force forward. Now Kaz was able to walk past those charged zealots, but not without taking some damage. With enough reinforcements from his racks, he's able to do quite a bit of damage, but it's going to be a little close still. The Stalkers without shields will get dropped very quickly by those Marauders, but there are still enough, and some more reinforcement charged zealots continue to push forward, and this is very scary right now for Kaz. I think this is going to be the game. Should just be a matter of time until he calls it, but right now Kami is doing just far too much damage for Kaz to realistically come back from, especially since we've got both these expansions up here for Kami just running nice and healthily, and really nothing that Kaz is going to be able to do about it anytime soon. And now he's in danger of losing that Ghost Academy. He's in danger of losing these production facilities over here as well, as those racks are very, very close. And there it is, Kaz. Oh man, too funny. Kaz saying 20 command centers, no problem. No big deal. He does have quite a few. That's certainly interesting, but it doesn't really matter. Game's over. Right now with Kami inside of the main base, just continuing to work down the rest of this bio, and then he's going to take out all these production facilities, and that is going to do it for this game. So what a game, guys, huh? A pretty interesting game here between Kami and Kaz. As we saw, Kami has come out victorious. Just pretty effective harass of the expansion. Again, one of the biggest things is just expo harass. I mean, it's really it's so important in this particular game to be able to harass expansions. Very, very, very important. Hurting your opponent's economy is what is going to lead to victory. So as always, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this game between Kaz and Kami. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, guys. Keep watching, keep owning.